out to be, or
Right.
you see it on TV.
Right.
Is that true? I mean, are the jobs? You're not going to walk in Hollywood and get a job as an actor.
Right. It's. I think the first problem is that there's a perception that everyone in Hollywood wants to be an actor or a director.
Okay, that's not true.
So once we fight through that, we find out that most people working in the business are not one of those two things.
Okay.
And even successful directors and some actors have to start out doing a crew position. Directors like Fred Darabont or Jan Dubont or who else? Tim Burton. They all started out as crew people.
Oh, really?
Until they got the chance to do what they wanted to do.
So is that the way in then for a lot of people?
Well, that's one of them. There's the short film route, which a lot of people do. They can submit to festivals, or the more actual successful way is to get repped and then submit your short film to one of the film markets, like the Cannes Film Market, which is different from the festival itself, or the American AFM.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a more direct route to a sale and then an actual career.
Right.
The festivals themselves, there are a few which are prestigious and get attention, and those are the ones that really someone who wants an actual career in the business should be aiming toward. But in general, there are different ways to get to those top levels.
Okay.
And there is just no one way to do anything, really.
But say you don't want to be an actor or director, so you just want to be, you're a cameraman.
Right.
And you want to, work on the set. What's the best way to get involved in that?
There is no easy answer, which is part of the reason I wrote the book. I moved out from Ohio being fairly naive, and there were no resources. We didn't have the internet like we do now, where people can write to people like me, actually, every day. I get questions and ask, how do you do it? What do I do? What's the best way to go? People are still constantly asking if they should go to film school. Is that, the best way to go?
What's the answer on that?
Film school. Well, again, there's no easy answer. The fact is that school doesn't really help you. A degree in filmmaking or study won't. No one's going to ask you for your diploma when you apply for a job. You don't even apply for a job. The whole business really runs on networking. Who you know, what you can do. So film school, to that end, will give you some practical experience. It also helps you meet people who are also moving into the industry like you are.
Right.
And then you build that way.
Okay. Well, tell me about the day-to-day life of a cameraman. There's got to be some interesting things that you'll see.
Of a cameraman. Well, there are different kind of cameramen.
On set, just not in the speaking role, but something behind the scenes.
Oh, I see. Well, one of the things film schools tend to not explain is, or even books, is that the days are incredibly long. You're talking about 12 to 14 hours minimum on most feature sets or episodic TV sets. Music videos, standard days are 18 to 20 hours a day. You're working 5-day weeks, maybe 6 on location, and that's for maybe 3 months at a time. So one of the reasons I wrote the book was to sort of explain how someone can get into this, but more importantly, to describe what life is like having a job in the business, because that's something that I didn't realize before I got into it. I really didn't understand what I was getting myself into, and I think it's really important for anyone who has this dream to understand the realities of it.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to talk anyone out of it with the book or even into it. It's just to explain what they're getting themselves into.
Well, aside from the long days, what else you're getting yourself into? A lot of people would have no problem with that.
True. There are ramifications that go along with that. You can make a lot of money, so that's the upside.
As a cameraman or a set designer, right?
Yeah, as pretty much anyone on set, you're making a fairly decent living.
Okay.
Compared to the rest of the country or different places around the world. However, there's a price to be paid for that. like I said, long hours. You don't really have much of a life outside set while you're working.
Right.
And people, unfortunately, lose their marriages or friends, or relationships can be fleeting. Work comes and goes. Work is moving itself around the world as studios find cheaper places to shoot.
So you've been all over then?
I've been around the world, yeah.
Not just Hollywood?
Correct.
Okay. Where are some of the different places you've been?
Just in this last year, I spent a couple months in Europe. I was in Dubai. I was in Prague for 3 months on the film Wanted last summer.
Okay.
I was in China, in Shanghai for Mummy 3. I'll be going to Mexico in about 2 weeks away for Fast and Furious with 4.
Okay.
Where else? And then all around the United States. So filmmaking is a fairly nomadic experience, and if we didn't have films, we'd all be on the circus probably.
What's that?
If we didn't have films to work on, we'd probably all be on the circus.
That's a good way of summarizing it.
The thought of going to an office, a cubicle every day, just kind of turns most people in this business off a bit. People who work on set.
What jobs do you not want to get? What's the best set job to have, or in your opinion? Or the better jobs to have on set? Or maybe I'll ask it a different way. What are the jobs you don't want to get stuck with?
Well, that's really an individual choice. I mean, while I was writing the book, let me start over. When I was writing the book, I knew a considerable amount already, but I went and interviewed everyone in every position, and one of the things I found out was that everyone in those jobs really loves what they do.
Okay.
And you almost have to, because it's too difficult to survive and succeed in this business if you don't really have passion and enthusiasm for what you do.
Okay.
So, while a director might be seen as the filmmaker,
right,
underline the,
right.
I was talking to dolly grips who are incredibly passionate about what they do, and they see themselves as filmmakers. And the fact is they are. They're operating the camera just as much as the cameraman is.
Okay.
Or the camera operator is.
You need everybody then.
Films are too expensive and time-consuming to have wasted people on the set. So, everyone is necessary. And they really have to be there 100% every day.
Okay.
And they usually are.
Okay. Is it possible for, a cameraman or dolly grip or something like that to go on to be an actor? You mentioned, Tim Burton, but...
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There is just no one way to get into any of these jobs. Again, the days are long, and while you're making a movie or a television show, you're pretty much doing your task for 12 to 14 hours a day. There isn't time to devote toward working toward another goal if you've got one.
Right.
So, for better or worse, there are downtimes. There's hiatuses. We've just had the strike, so a lot of people weren't working. We've got another potential one coming out.
Really?
With the SAG. SAG contract is in dispute at the moment. So, what's going on right now is everyone saw this coming. At the end of June, the Screen Actor Guild contract is up, and they're discussing it now. But there's a very distinct possibility that they'll go on strike at the end of June. So anytime this sort of thing happens, the studios ramp up production in order to stockpile product.
Yeah.
So everyone is working like crazy right now, but we all know that whether there's a strike or not, things will slow down in July and maybe August and September until something gets solved. What that means is that that's the downtime someone can use while they're not working on set to work toward their other goals.
Okay.
Whether that's if they want to be an actor, they go on auditions or be in plays or something. Or if they want to direct, they go mount their own project.
Is there any animosity between people on the set and the actors or the directors?
Well, there are different.
I gotta ask,
No, the days are long, and we're there for a long time, and it's really important people. So on occasion there might be differences, especially, I mean, when you're talking about creative people, there tend to be opinions. But for the most part, no, everyone's there for their reason, and everybody understands why everyone else is there, and they let them do their jobs.
But you don't ever get, do you ever get, attitude from an actor?
Do I, or in general?
Do you ever see it?
Attitude from an actor? Sure, I mean, that happens on occasion, but sometimes usually it's out of frustration. I've never seen anything uncalled for or unjustified. Usually if someone has an issue on a set, at that level, the professional level, it's not going to be something petty. Somebody has dropped the ball maybe, or something's been overlooked.
So you guys aren't treated as like scapegoats or anything for the actors?
Oh, no.
Like, taking their frustration out on you holding the camera or someone, setting up a light?
No. Not really.
Okay. Let me see if I got anything else. I think that might be it. So is there like it doesn't seem very glamorous, the backstage and just that behind-the-scenes life.
Well, there is a definite media image that's built up over time where really what most people see are Entertainment Tonight stories and about movie stars and directors, and everyone's wealthy and having a wonderful life. And it's not bad, but the fact is that most people working are just regular people, middle class. We make a little more money than most people around the country, but Los Angeles is expensive to live in, so it all balances out. So it's not this glamorous. I mean, I'm about ready to spend 2 nights, in Long Beach somewhere. We spent a couple nights under a bridge under the 105 on the Fast and Furious last week. That's not glamorous. And even, for that matter, the premieres themselves, those are not necessarily glamorous either. That's what you see on TV, but it is work. We go and we shoot them, and people come and they get their picture taken and do interviews. But what's cut together makes it look like some kind of spectacular. But that's really just another piece of the marketing for the movie is a premiere. It's important for someone who wants to get into this business to realize that it's work.
Right.
And it's a real life, and it can be difficult to get in, it can be difficult to maintain, but it's fun. And if you're not having fun, you're really not going to make it or succeed. It's just too difficult otherwise.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks so much for talking to me, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Got the story here. Do you know what the date on the book? It just says July.
I don't. I haven't been given an exact date yet.
Oh,
Nicole will know better, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, thanks so much.